So hello everyone and welcome to Career Launcher. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the recent decisions that were taken by Mr. Donald Trump that would be impacting India adversely. It has been very much in the news. He has taken multiple decisions in this regard, which were coming in the news. So that is why I have decided to discuss it in one class. So let us begin with the class. I think I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. So let us begin with the first topic. And the first topic is Mr. Donald Trump has declared multiple times that it was he who mediated the talks between India and Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. And he was the one who got the ceasefire done. Why this is problematic, why it is actually not positive news for us? Because India believes we have actually signed an agreement. This agreement is called as Simla Agreement, or what we call it as Shimla Agreement in 1972, where it was agreed between India and Pakistan that there should not be no third party interference should be there when it comes to the talk. Okay. This was signed in 1972. So according to the principle of the Shimla Agreement, whenever there is a talk between India and Pakistan, the third party should not intervene. Okay. And that is why when he's claiming that he was the one who actually mediated the talks, it is actually considered as violating the principle mentioned in Simla Agreement. Okay. That is what you should be knowing about. So that is why it is very, very important. Okay. Now, so recently what happened in the month of September, UN General Assembly session happens. I'm sure you must be aware that the UN General Assembly session happens from this September to the next September. So that is from September 2020, let's say 5 to September 2026. So that is also in September 2025. So there's a session for 1 year. The session happens. And this one is the 80th UN General Assembly session. And please tell me in the comment section that who is the president of this UN General Assembly session. So you have to write it in the comment section. I'm giving you a hint. She is actually a former minister from Germany. Okay, that is what I've given you a small hint. So basically, when the UN General Assembly session happened, he spoke that he was the one who stopped 7 wars, including the India-Pakistan war. That is what he has actually claimed. So let us talk about that. So he says, I have ended 7 wars. That is what Mr. Donald Trump has said in the recent UN General Assembly. Okay. So I stopped now. So in all the cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. So this includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, Congo and Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Ethiopia and Egypt, Armenia and Azerbaijan. So that is what Mr. Donald Trump said, that these are the 7 wars I have stopped. So I will discuss a little bit about these wars in short. So first of all is Cambodia, Thailand. So where is India? Let's talk about the first one, Cambodia. This is Thailand and this is Cambodia. So these are countries in Southeast Asia, right? So basically this region is called as Southeast Asia. Okay. So Cambodia and Thailand. So what happened was here is actually, this is the border and there have been frictions on the border. So there are some border disputes. Okay. The most prominent is actually there is a temple called as Priya Vihar temple. So that is the most important disputed site between Thailand and Cambodia. Both the countries claim that this temple belonged to them. So that was one of the reasons. So the next is Kosovo and Serbia. So you can watch in detail about Thailand-Cambodia conflict if you are interested here on the YouTube. This is also our Career Launchers MBA Law Entrance channel for those who are preparing for a CLAT exam. You can watch it. Then he told us that he stopped Israel-Iran war also. That is what he's saying. You can see it here, Israel-Iran conflict. So recently what we have seen that Israel had attacked Iran Then Iran had attacked back Israel. So Israel attacked Iran under Operation Rising Lion. And Iran responded by Operation True Promise. True Promise 3. Okay. So that was also in the news. You can watch this video. And then he said, Donald Trump says that I was the one who mediated, etc., and stopped the wars, etc. The next one he talked about is Congo. So DRC, this is an Africa continent. DRC means Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. And here is Rwanda. So that is what you should be doing. So Rwanda and Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay. Then actually there is a M23 rebel group which was attacking Congo, etc. And that is why the deals were done. And Donald Trump says that I was the one who has done the deal. Then Serbia and Kosovo conflict. So basically Kosovo claims independence from Serbia, whereas Serbia says that it is our part. So here is India. This is Europe. Okay. And here you will find Serbia. So let me zoom it further. So this is Serbia. And this is Kosovo. So Kosovo says that since 2008, we have become independent. Whereas the Serbia says that no, Kosovo is our state. It is our part. So that is also the dispute between Serbia and Kosovo. So just have a rough idea. You are not supposed to go in detail and research on it, but have a rough idea behind this. Okay. That is what he has talked about. So these are the important. Kosovo we have done. Congo, Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel, Iran. Let's talk about this. Egypt and Ethiopia and Armenia and Azerbaijan. So let's talk about Egypt and Ethiopia. So one of the main reasons why we are witnessing an adverse relation with Egypt and Ethiopia is because of this dam, Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Okay, so let us first talk. See, if you see it carefully, this is Africa continent. I'm sure you must have heard this. So here is Ethiopia, okay? And here you will find between Rwanda and Uganda, here you will find Lake Victoria. Why I'm saying that? Because from here a river starts roughly, I'm making this. This is called as White Nile. And from Ethiopia, here, somewhere here, a Blue Nile starts. Both meets in Khartoum, the capital of Sudan. Then it goes north towards the Egypt. So this is the direction of the river. Okay, this is Nile River in Egypt, very famous, and it falls in Mediterranean Sea. This is Mediterranean Sea. Okay. This is actually, the left one is called as White Nile and the right one is called as Blue Nile. Okay. And here, somewhere here, Ethiopia is making a dam. Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Okay. That is what here it is. But why Egypt has issue? Because of course, when you put a dam here, the water will be reduced in Blue Nile and subsequently in the Nile River. Yes. So I am sure you must be aware. This is the most famous dispute, like which happens between the two countries, even between the two states, and that is the river, or I would say the water, especially when it comes to the construction of dam. Okay, that is what you should be knowing. So Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Okay. So that is what it was in the news. The next, so we are done with, I think, almost one more. Yes, we were talking about is Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. That also he said he has stopped. There is India. This is Iran. This is Azerbaijan. This is Armenia. So basically, there is a region inside the Azerbaijan called as Nagorno-Karabakh. So this is actually a dispute between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So Armenia claims that this is my territory. Azerbaijan claims it is my territory. So this is called as Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. So this is a conflict between Armenia versus Azerbaijan. And according to Donald Trump, he has stopped this conflict also. So that is what it was in the news. Now let's move on further. Now, since the topic of today's class is the things like Donald Trump's decisions impacting India, the first is he has claimed that he was the one who stopped the war, which is of course against our principle of non-interference of third party in India-Pakistan talks, as we have agreed in Simla Agreement. So that is why it was problematic for us that Mr. Donald Trump was claiming that he was the one who stopped the war. Now let's move on to the next one. Trump's tariff on Indian products. Now, what is problematic with this? For example, if an Indian product is getting exported from India to USA, let's say, and let's say original price is $10, and let's say Donald Trump has put 50% tariff. So 50% tariff means its value is $10, so $5 extra will be added as a tariff. So the price will become $15 in America. So let's say this $10 was a shirt. Now it will become $15. So it will become even more costly. So once the shirt becomes even more costly, so the chances of being sold is less. So it becomes lesser competitiveness. Lesser competitive. And hence it will lead to decline in India's export. Because nobody will buy. They will prefer to buy the US made products now. So whenever you put an import tariff or an import duty on the foreign goods, it will discourage people to buy those things because it will become costly. So Trump tariffs on Indian products was actually very much in the news because he was putting tariff after tariff. So let us begin. Additional tariffs on Indian imports 25%. So Trump ordered an extra 25%. So initially 25%, then he again further increased to 25% more. So now even 50%. So why Donald Trump is saying? So Donald Trump says that I'm putting it because India is buying crude oil from Russia. So before Russia-Ukraine war, we were a very small amount of crude oil we were buying. But now after the Russia-Ukraine war, I think it has increased to almost 30 to 40%. Now we are buying this and it is being refined. So this is a crude oil. It is being refined in the refineries in India. And then they are being exported to different countries, like even European Union, etc. So USA, Donald Trump says that when India is buying so much crude oil, it is actually financing Russia against Ukraine. So that is what you should be knowing. So Donald Trump is putting allegation on India and keep on saying that India is the one who is financing Russia in the war because it keeps on buying crude oil. That is what. And that is why Trump said that I am putting tariff and I will boycott India, etc. These were the things why Donald Trump was saying this again and again. Recently, we have seen he has decided to put 100% duty on pharmaceutical import. Okay, so whatever we will export to USA, that will be 100% tariff would be there. Okay. Especially the most important pharmaceutical, although it is for other things also. And he said that we are imposing it because of national security reasons and to save American company from unfair outside competition. So it means if he will import tariffs on Indian pharma or Indian medicines, then of course it will promote American companies in his own country because Indian products will become costly. That is what he's actually doing. Now, this pharmaceutical products, there are other products also, but the most important is pharmaceutical products because India is famous for exporting pharma products. Okay. So he's putting 100% tariff. It means, for example, if the medicine is of, let's say, $1, it will become of $2. So it will exactly become double. So of course, it will become too costly. So branded and patented drugs exempt if US manufacturing plant under construction. So this 100% pharmaceutical product prices is on branded medicine. So what is branded? So branded is like, for example, if you buy a paracetamol from a normal, let's say Jan Aushadhi Kendra, you will get a non-branded or generic medicine. But if you say that I want a Crocin or Calpol, which is made by a branded company, that's called as branded. So basically, the branded pharmaceutical companies on branded drugs, they have put the tariff. However, in one case, the exemption is given, and that is if your company is constructing a plant in USA, then in that case, this is exempted. There are other products also like kitchen cabinets, kitchen related products, 50% tariff. Then bathroom vanities, 50%. Bathroom vanities like shampoos, soap, conditioner, etc. Steel and aluminum, 50%. Copper imports, 50%. Upholstered furnitures. You can see then heavy duty trucks, household appliances, commercial vehicles, etc. So of course they are making it. Of course it will cause extreme cost. The cost prices will increase, which is actually not a very good news for us. That is what you should be knowing about. And even so, the prices will increase in America, and the American people have said, like Federal Reserve Chair has said, that we have begun to see goods prices showing through higher inflation, right? Why? Because if they will import and they will put too much taxes or import duties on Indian products, those things will become costly naturally in America. That is what you should be knowing about. Okay. Now, if you see it carefully, actually we have the three biggest trading partner of India is US, UAE, and China. So with UAE and China, India has trade deficit. It means we are exporting less to these countries and importing more. But with USA, India is having trade surplus. It means India is exporting more to USA and importing less. Okay, so India's export to the USA was this much, $86.51 billion. India's import from the US was $45.33 billion. And India's goods trade surplus was $41.18 billion. Okay, that is what you should be knowing about. Now, you have to understand one thing. So it means from India's perspective, we are having trade surplus. But from US perspective, they are having trade deficit with India. Right? Because it is, of course, it's the reverse. Now, Donald Trump was also not happy that why we are having trade deficit. I want to increase it, make it trade surplus, etc. This also he said when he came to power last year in November. Okay, so this was also very much in the news. You should have a basic idea about this. And yes, one more thing. When I discussed it that yes, Donald Trump has put a lot of tariff. I was emphasizing especially on pharmaceuticals, because India is famous for providing pharmaceuticals. It is the largest provider of generic medicine, although Donald Trump has not put taxes on generic medicine, but still. So medicines is actually the thing, the strong point of India's export, I would say. It is also the largest vaccine supplier in the world by volume, and accounting for more than 60%. Okay. So according to the Economic Survey 2023, the turnover in the domestic pharmaceutical market was $41 billion. India's pharmaceutical export revenue was $25.3 billion in fiscal year 2023. Okay, that is what you should be knowing about. And we have done it like I was saying that we have trade surplus with America, but we have trade deficit with China. You can see last fiscal year, India's export was $14.25 billion, whereas import, we are talking in context of China, 113.5. If you subtract the two, we will get the trade deficit of $99.2 billion, which is huge. So it's almost $100 billion. So we have almost $100 billion trade deficit with China. That is what you should be knowing. And earlier, the trade deficit was lesser, like in 2023, 2024. In 24-25, the trade deficit has even widened. So it means we are exporting less and we are importing much from China. So that is what you should be knowing. And one more thing, since we are talking about pharmaceutical products, we should know that we buy almost 70% of APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients, from China. So for example, Indian pharma companies, when they want to manufacture medicine, they buy actually APIs from China, active pharmaceutical ingredients. And then medicines are being made, which is being then exported to other countries. And hence, we are very much dependent on China when it comes to active pharmaceutical ingredients. Okay, that is what you should be knowing about. Okay, so these are the things you should be knowing. We have done with this that Donald Trump is not happy because we are buying Russian crude oil, and then it is being refined in, let's say, Jamnagar. Jamnagar is world's largest Reliance India Limited of Mr. Mukesh Ambani. So world's largest oil refinery. And then it is being, after being refined, it is being exported to the rest of the world. Even Europe also, they are also buying it, although they are saying that we should not be buying Russian oil, but still they are also buying from us. Okay, that is what you should be knowing. So we are buying Russian crude oil. Then it is being, let's say, refined in India, let's say in Gujarat, let's say Jamnagar factory, and then it is being exported. Even to European countries are still buying. So even though they will say, I will not buying, they are not buying directly, but of course, indirectly, they are buying the products. Okay, now let's talk about this one. This was also a decision that was impacting us, and that is Trump's decision on Chabahar port. So this was also very much recently in the news. 19 September news, Trump administration withdraws sanction waiver to Chabahar port. Okay, so what exactly was the case? You can see this was an agreement between India, Iran, and Afghanistan. See, what happened was, first of all, let me show you where exactly is Chabahar port. Then it will be helpful for us. So here is India. This is Iran. This is Chabahar port. Okay. So one of its terminal is called as Shahid Beheshti terminal. And this terminal has been built by India Ports Limited, which is an Indian company. So India has actually made this port. Why? Because India has in fact done an agreement between India, Iran, and Afghanistan. See, I'm sure you must be aware, and this is actually called as Central Asia. Now, India does not have connectivity with Central Asia. The reason is this region is actually POK, which has been illegally occupied by Pakistan. So now, if we want to go to Central Asia, we cannot go through this. Either we have to go through POK, which Pakistan will not allow, or we have to go like this. So there's problem. So now we have decided that, okay, let's make Chabahar here. One of the port, we have done an agreement with India, Iran, and Afghanistan. So let's say from Mumbai, our ship will go here. From Chabahar, this is Zahedan. There was a proposal to make a rail link connecting Zahedan with Chabahar. And from there, actually like this. And this highway is called as Zaranj Delaram Highway. So Zahedan to Afghanistan and then to the entire Central Asia, Central Asia. Okay, that is what you should be knowing about. So this was the plan. So what happened actually originally, what was the case? That I'm sure you must be aware, USA has put a lot of sanctions on Iran. Sanctions means a sort of an economic boycott, or what we call it as embargo, economic boycott. So nobody should be doing trade with Iran, otherwise I will impose sanctions on them. That is what is called as sanction or embargo. But Trump had given waiver to this port. Okay, so you can see it here. Thereby ending the waiver from 2018. So in 2018, he had given the waiver that, okay, yes, India can set up the terminal. We will not boycott them. But now recently what he has done is he has actually withdrew the sanction waiver. So for all practical purpose, if someone is actually making Chabahar port, then of course the USA can put sanction on them. So indirectly, it was an attack on India. Attack in the sense that it was actually a bad news for us, because now it will be difficult for us to operate Chabahar port, etc. Maybe America will create further issues. That is why it was also not considered as a very good for us. That is why it was very much in the news. Trump administration withdraws sanction waiver to Chabahar port. What it means to India. That is what you should be knowing about. Yes, India through its India Ports Global Limited was making this Shahid Beheshti terminal at Chabahar port. Okay, that is what you should be knowing. And one more thing, I'm giving you homework. Please read about this International North-South Transport Corridor. This you should be knowing. Because actually this is something like this, that from here you can go like this. You can directly go to Russia. That is INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, via this Azerbaijan, Baku. Okay, that is what you should know. So what are the impact of the sanction? You can read it, although I have given you a rough idea about it. If you are interested, you can read it in further in detail. Trump decision on H-1B. I'm sure you must be aware. H-1B visas are actually given to those who are working people, not for the students. So for example, an Indian company, this is not only for India, but for other countries also. But a lot of Indians were getting benefited from H-1B. So it means any alteration here will impact Indians also. So let's say an Indian is working, let's say in TCS, and he's being sent to America for, let's say, 2 years by the same company. Then TCS, Tata Consultancy, had to pay for H-1B visa, right? To the US government. So earlier the price was very less. Now they have increased the price. So initially the price was, now they have increased the price to $1 lakh, which is almost equivalent to 88 lakh rupees. Before that it was 60 times lesser, means somewhere around, let's say, $1,667 something. Or maximum you can say $2,000, which was hardly 1.6 lakh rupees, etc. So, so from, let's say, from $2,000, it has increased to, let's say, $1 lakh. It means the prices. So now if the companies will have to send Indians from India to America in future, they will have to pay this much huge amount of fees. Now, this is not for the current year. This is for the upcoming year. They have clarified it. That is from the next year. But of course, that is actually bad news for Indians and all, or Indian companies. So why he has put such thing? Because there was something called as outsourcing. So what US firms and others were doing, they were actually bringing Indians from India instead of hiring US people, because they believe that, okay, we will pay less. The Indians will agree to on lesser salaries. That is why that's called as outsourcing, but it was creating problem in their own country. So the American citizens are not happy. And now when Donald Trump has put such a stringent measures on, or H-1B has increased the price, most likely the American citizens will get benefit, something like that. Okay, that is what you should be knowing. These companies used to prefer hire foreign workers. Foreign workers means, so from USA they used to hire Indians, at a significant discount, means Indians were willing to work at a lesser price also, right? That is the idea behind this. So who can apply? You can see these are the rules I have put. They were initially issued for 3 years, extendable up to 6 years, like that. Okay, you can read about it in detail. One more thing, Mr. Donald Trump has recently said that India is also a drugs hub, which is also, of course, bad news for us. India names India, Pakistan among 23 illegal drug producing countries. So basically, when you see the drug producing regions are this, India, this region, this is called as Golden Crescent. This is called as Golden Triangle. And another very huge drug producing region is this, the Latin American countries. So basically, India is sandwiched between the two drug producing trade countries. Like, so Afghanistan, I have told you, Afghanistan, Pakistan. So these are here, and this is Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan. ये तो हो गया. अब ये सब जो देखो, Burma is here, Myanmar, yes. Then Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Jamaica, ये सारे जो यहाँ पे मिलेंगे आपको, सारे, all. Okay. Then Laos is here, देखो यहाँ पे Laos होगा, ठीक है. ठीक है. So these are the places, Panama, Peru, Venezuela. तो यहाँ पर सारे countries यहाँ पर है. But we are not able to understand why Donald Trump has added India also. Whereas India is not the case. So drug producing countries are here, this one and this one. These are drug producing regions of the world, drugs. But what happened was he added India in that also, in the list. And that is why it was, of course, not a good news for us. So that is what you should be knowing about. So I hope you got the idea that how actually some of his decisions have impacted us adversely. So let us see what will happen in the future. But I have given you a basic idea about this. So this is all about today's class. Please subscribe to our channel, press the like button, share this video. Thank you, everyone.